with that, let's just take a pivot over to talk about this story. And that is the story about Texas Governor Greg Abbott continuing his crusade against and I mean a crusade against brown people broadly, Hispanic people, Latino people, anything that you want to talk about in this. The actual breakdown of people from these countries, I don't know what they'll end up being, but if there is something that I can't recall something that is more despicable by a governor, other than maybe Chris Christie dancing on TV, then the end. You know, of course, I will say DeSantis pulling some of this stuff is also despicable and should be included in this. But Greg Abbott sending busloads of migrants, again, and people overlook this, migrants that cross the border via legal means. They are seeking asylum, most of them, or they are seeking status here in the United States via the actual policies of the country, because that's how Greg Abbott gets these people, lures them in. There is still some question about how they're doing this, the legality of it, the legality of them bringing people in with certain promises, what DeSantis was talking about. You recall the mysterious blonde aide that was telling people that you're going to have a job and you're going to have this and you're going to have that, which, yeah, sounds exactly what you would want someone to have, a job, and you would want them to be able to support themselves, but that's besides the point, and they want you to think that these folks are just coming to steal your lake house. Because remember, 2018, because you guys all remember the giant caravan, right? The caravan is still on the loose. The caravan that took over your vacation home, you might not have a regular home. You might not own your own home. But your vacation home, your third and fourth home, oh wait, that might just be the boomers that watch Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, that are getting scared into believing this stuff, not realizing also that immigrants have lower crime rates. Illegal immigrants, legal immigrants, any form of first-generational immigrant, all of them have lower crime rates, and you can pull it up, lower crime rates than natural-born citizens of this country. Not to mention that if we actually, this is I'm gonna my soapbox here, but not to mention that if we actually brought people in, naturalized them, legalized them, they would be more likely to prevent crime, the same crime that the Republicans claim that is so rampant. They would be able to prevent crime by reporting people to the police without the fear of being deported. But these people, Greg Abbott, want to deport, they want to punish, they want to be cruel, because cruelty is the point. Cruelty is the intent for these people, because they are making a political game out of these folks' lives. So let me see if I can pull up the video. The video of these migrants. As you see, I'm going to mute that because it's very loud. But as you see, there are all these migrants being dropped off. And I should say, and I'll let this run. They're being dropped off in front of Kamala Harris's house in Washington, D.C. on Christmas Eve. These folks are not prepared for the temperatures that they had in Washington, D.C. Because remember, on Christmas Eve here in Pennsylvania, it was about 3 degrees. So all these folks being dropped off in front of Kamala Harris's house as a political stunt, not having the proper attire to be outside, not having people there to receive them, give them aid, give them the stuff that they need. Because remember also that the other time that these freaking assholes did this, DeSantis and Abbott, they sent them to New York, to Philadelphia, to these major cities. At least the major cities were ready. They were ready to receive them. They gave them aid. Now the mayors were requesting more funds. They were requesting more aid. They were requesting all this stuff to help these people because that is what you should do. El Paso, remember, that actually gets national funds for stuff like this. But no, Greg Abbott wants to play political games and he wants to risk folks' lives because he does not give a damn about these people. He does not give a damn about the people of Texas. He does not give a damn about anybody except himself and his political ambitions to LARP as somebody that, oh, I'm tough on the border, I'm tough on crime, I'm this, I'm that. He's aligning himself with Ron DeSantis, and the two of them really want to just be the cool new conservatives. But whatever happened to the potential of a compassionate conservative? Whatever happened to that obscure concept of compassionate conservatism? Whatever happened to the extent that Ronald Reagan, even, who anybody that watches this show knows, I am no fan of Ronald Reagan, but he actually naturalized and provided a pathway to citizenship for millions, not hundreds, not thousands, millions of undocumented immigrants in the 80s. He provided that. That created them a pathway to be a citizen or to be naturalized, etc. What happened to that Republican Party, at least that had some semblance of responsibility, of understanding that this country is supposed to be a melting pot, that it's safer for people to feel like they live and are a part of this country. It is safer for them in a work environment to be protected by the laws of the United States, to have the same rights as other citizens. It is safer for everybody. It is better for everybody. And yet, these folks, granted, they're governors. Greg Abbott's a governor. Comprehensive immigration reform is not even something that they propose. Immigration reform in any form is not anything that they are looking towards doing. They all care about, and this includes DeSantis, this includes Abbott, this includes Trump, this includes all these different people. I'm sure that there's Democrats in that list too that are not good on the issue of immigration. But frankly, this is one of the most polarized partisan issues that continues to plague our country, to divide us over the falsehood of the entitled immigrant, which is not a real thing. Immigrants are more likely to start businesses. Entrepreneurship is supposedly, according to some folks, which I agree with, I think that small businesses and entrepreneurship is the backbone of America, and that big corporations should be broken up. But these folks that say that they care about this would never say that. They would never advocate for it, and they never advocate for holding corporations culpable or liable for hiring illegal undocumented immigrants or hiring illegal workers, because that would be too simple. They want to punish the individual rather than create a system that actually functions, because they don't actually care about the issue. I don't ever hear the same folks, Abbott, DeSantis, coming up with legitimate reforms and changes to the system that, other than just deport them all, which again, these folks are not just running across the border. These are not criminals. These are not drug smugglers. These are not, the people that Trump was alluding to, because let's be honest, most overwhelming majority of people that are crossing the border are not criminals, but Trump and his allies and maybe his political enemies now are only interested in punishing people as best they can for wanting a better life. They will continue to LARP on this issue until some form of reform is done. And frankly, it only happened under a Democrat. I don't see it ever happening under a Republican controlled Congress, and I definitely don't see it under a Republican president. And I wouldn't, let's just say if you had Senator OHanlon, I would never even consider passing something with these folks as president because of their intent. I wouldn't even consider what they're doing because they're not operating in good faith. If they actually wanted to create comprehensive immigration reform, they would be coming to help people, not to prove points, to score points on Fox News and OAN. They would actually provide help for people. They would plead towards the federal government and come to work with the Republican Congress people and the Republican senators and say, hey, you should give the Democrats this, which this, like what I'm alluding to is like create some form of pathway to citizenship, create a legitimate way to seek asylum, and protect DACA recipients. Because none of those things are outrageous. None of them are an outrageous claim. And the other thing, in closing here, is that when we look and ignoring all the other forms of undocumented immigrants in this country, because not the stereotypical undocumented immigrant that these people are alluding to and these people are using as political pawns are Hispanic, but ignoring, or Latino, I should say, there are a ton of non-Latino immigrants that are here undocumented, and these are never the folks that get this bigotry targeted at them. These are never, which I'm not saying that they should, but the people that deal with the repercussions are the Latino people that are in this country, whether illegal or legal. They deal with the consequences of this rhetoric. They deal with the bigotry. There is not a compromise that is being willing to have from the Republicans, because Democrats, frankly, I'll put up a stupid wall if we actually had a system to process people, because you know what? Frankly, the wall's not going to do anything. Any expert, we've looked at this, we've analyzed this, people have covered it 1,000 times over. Any physical barrier isn't going to be the determining factor for immigration in this country. Investing in technology, investing in this longer term, in process, in system, we would actually be able to alleviate the problem. And I'm sure that there's hundreds of things that I don't even know about that could actually help on the border as a piece of technology that we would probably be willing to give if they came in good faith to discuss and negotiate. But they're never, ever trying to get to the table.